Welcome to our today's class. We are going to look at the revision paper, Maranda High School, mock examination 2025. This is mathematics paper 1. Mathematics paper 1 for Kcse revision Maranda High School. So we'll be looking at section 1 of this paper. We'll be looking at this section 1, which runs from question number 1 to 16. You can see the instructions. You are required to do all the questions in section 1, and it carries 50 marks of the total 100 marks. All the questions in this section are supposed to be answered in the space provided. So we can see the first question. You solve for t in the given equation 1 over t, and as you can see, that is a question on trying to test us on what we all know, board mass. So we shall start with the numerator. We can start working out the numerator. And the numerator is the numerator in our case, 4 over 5, that is 9 over 5, divided by 2 over 3 times 9 over 4 minus 3 over 10. So that is off, that is multiplication. So we start with off. So we multiply 2 over 3 times 9 over 4. So we're going to have 9 over 5, and then divide by, the answer becomes here 3 over 2 minus 3 over 10. So that we have 18 over 15 minus 3 over 10. So LCM in there is 15. When you subtract, you're going to get 9 over 10 as your answer for the numerator. Your answer for numerator. So it's 9 over 10. Then we move to the denominator. So denominator, we start with multiplication, and we have 5 over 6. We divide by 22 over 39 times 13 over 11. So we multiply here 1, here 2, and there 2. Then we have we shall have 13 into 39, that is 13 1, 13 3. So we shall have 5 over 6. We 5 over 6. This is addition, sorry. This is addition. So 5 over 6 plus now 2 over 3. 2 over 3. And we have our denominator as 3 over 2. So that is the value for denominator. Now we combine the two, so such that 1 over t gives us 9 over 10 divide by 3 over 2. 3 over 2. So we remove the denominator by multiplying the reciprocal of the denominator. Reciprocal of the denominator. So 1 over t is equal to 9 over 10 times 2 over 3. So 1 over t, it gives us 18 over 30. 18 over 30. To get t, we simply find the reciprocal of 18 over 30, which is 30 over 18, and the value of t becomes 30 over 18 gives us 1, 2 over 3. Now that one becomes the value of t for our answer. So that is how you get your 4 marks for that first question. 4 marks for the first question. Okay, we move to the second question. The second question, a motorist traveling at a steady speed of 120 km per hour covers a section of a highway in 10 minutes. To minimize accidents, a speed is imposed. Traveling at the maximum speed allowed, the motorist takes 5 minutes longer to cover the same section. Calculate the speed limit imposed. And now we have to look for the speed limit that this motorist is going to impose for him to take 5 minutes longer to cover that section. So we first of all find the distance. And how do we find distance? Distance is equal to speed times time. So distance is equal to speed, that is 120, times time at 10 minutes divided by 60. So we convert to hours so that we have 10 over 60 hours. So we shall have a distance of 20 kilometers. Now, to look for the speed limit, we are going to have this. So you take the distance, which is 20 kilometers, then we divide by the time. Now time that is going to be used. So we shall have, now taking 15 minutes longer, that means this motorist is going to take 5 minutes longer, and initially he had used 10 minutes. That means he's going to take 15 minutes longer. That is, now we convert to hours. It's 15 over 60. So we shall have 20 times now 60 over 15. And we shall have 80 kilometers per hour. Now this one becomes our speed limit for this motorist in order to cover the given distance. So the speed limit becomes 80 kilometers per hour. Then you get your 3 marks for that. Then we move to the next question. The figure below shows a cyclic quadrilateral ABCD inside a circle of center and angle ADC, which is 113 degrees. So this angle ABC 113 degrees, as you can see. Then calculate the size of angle CAB. Angle CAB. This angle. This is now the angle that we are required to look for. Before we look for that angle, I think we can find the size of this angle, angle B. This angle A, ABC, ABC. So that if we have that angle, we simply take the 90 degrees minus the angle. Then we get uh, angle CAB. So to get C angle ABC. So to get to angle ABC, we simply take 180 degrees minus 113 degrees. 180 minus. We know that this angle ADC and ABC, they must give us 180 degrees. When you add, they must give you 100. So angle ABC becomes 67 degrees. Now, in order for us to get angle CAB, we must take now the remaining. Now this is 67 degrees, and this is 90. So that means 67 plus the remaining one must give you another 90. Now that we have this 190, so we have to add 67 plus this angle, we call it theta, must give us 90 degrees. So we simply take 90 degrees minus 67 degrees. So angle CAB becomes 23 degrees. Simple as that. Then you get your 2 awarded marks. That's simple. Then we move to the following, to the next question. Question number 4. Question number 4. The length of 1 hectare rectangular piece of land, which is 200 meters, is represented by 5 centimeters on the map. Calculate the perimeter of the farm on the map. Perimeter of the farm on the map. First of all, in this question, we have 1 hectare of land, which 200 meters is represented by 5 centimeters on a map. So first of all, we have to look for, we can find the width. Yeah, we can find the width. And to find this, calculate the perimeter of the farm. Now the length of 1 hectare rectangular piece of land, which is 200 meters, is represented by 5 centimeters on a map. So we have the length, so we look for the width. So to find the width, we know that 1 hectare, that is equal to 10,000 square meter. So to find W of the width, so we take 10,000, that is 10,000 divided by 200. So we have this 200. So 250. 2 here 1, 2 here 50. So you have 50 meters. So it will be represented by 50. So that when 200 over 50 is the same as now 5 over W. Over W. So that we now cross multiply that way to find out the value of W. So W is equal to 5 times 50 divided by 200. So we shall have 1.25 now centimeters. So it will be represented by 1.25 centimeters. So that now we'll find the perimeter. We now find the perimeter. Now find the perimeter. Now find the perimeter. So perimeter is equals to 2 into length plus width. 2 into, now our length, we have 5, which we were given, plus width, now we have 1.25. So our perimeter will become 12.5 centimeter. So that is the measurement for perimeter, which is 12.5 centimeters. That way. So that is how you arrive at your final answer and get your 3 marks. Get your 3 marks for that. And then we move to the next one. Question number 5. Question number 5. Solve for t in the equation. Solve for t in the equation. 2 over 3 raised to t plus 3 over 2 t is equal to 13 over 6. Is equal to 13 over 6. So we now have to find the value of t given above. So this is how we are going to start. 2 over 3 raised to t plus now 3 over 2 reciprocal t gives us now 13 over 6. Now you can see we have 2 over 3 raised to t, 2 over 3 raised to 2. So we can let k to be equal to 2 over 3 raised to t. So we replaced 2 over 3 raised to t with k, so that we have now k plus 1 over k, then is equal to 13 over 6. So we now multiply, collect like terms where possible, so that we have k squared minus 13 over 6k plus 1 gives us 13 over 6. Now it will give us 0. It will give us 0 now. Gives us 0. So k, now we can use the quadratic formula, so that we shall have our b here is 13 over 6 plus or minus Now square root of, now we shall have 169 over 36 minus 4. Then we divide by 2. We are using the quadratic formula to solve that equation. So k will be equal to 13 over 6 plus or minus 5 over 6 divided by 2. Divided by 2. So we now find the values of k, the two values of k, and k becomes 3 over 2 or 4 over 6. 4 over 6. So that is now the value of k. So we have k as 3 over 2 or k 4 over 6. So we now replace when k is 3 over 2 and when k is 4 over 6. So 2 over 3 t, 2 over 3 t is now the same as 3 over 2 is 3 over 2. That is same as k. That's same as k. And you are now taking k to be 3 over 2. Now when k is 3 over 2, we shall have 2 over 3 t will be now 2 over 3 raised to negative 1. Raised to negative 1. And the value of t will be now what? Negative 1. So it will be 2 over 3 power negative 1. And the negative 1 now becomes the value of t. So this is the value of t. The first value, that is when k is 3 over 2. We can also find the value of t when k is 4 over 6. So 2 over 3 t is it will be equal to 4 over 6. That is when k is 4 over 6. And that one now, 2 over 3 t, when k is 4 over 6, gives us 2 over 3 raised to 1. And this raised to 1 means now our t is equal to 1. That is how we get the values of t. So it's t is equal to negative 1, and also t is equal to 1, as you can see. And this is how you scoop your 4 free marks. Get your 4 free marks and move to the next question. So we move to question number 6. Question number 6. Without using calculators or mathematical tables, you evaluate sin theta minus cos theta divided by sin theta plus 2 cos theta, given that tan theta is equal to 8 over 15. So this last information is going to lead us. The tan theta is equal to 8 over 15. So we can have a triangle here so that it will help us. We know that tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. So we can use that to get to the value of theta. So given that this is theta, t or a tan theta becomes 8 over 15, meaning 8 is now the opposite. So this is where 8 is, and 15 is the adjacent. So 15 is here. We can find the hypotenuse. Yes, hypotenuse is equal to the square root of the square root of the square root of now 15 squared, 15 squared, 15 squared plus now 8 squared plus 8 squared. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 17. You're going to get 17 as the value of hypotenuse. So hypotenuse now becomes 17 that way. Then we know that using our secateurs, we don't have to forget this. The secateurs. They're saying you find sine theta. We know that sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite over hypotenuse now, which is 8 over 17. 8 over 17. Now minus cos theta. Minus cos theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So you have 15 over 17 over sine theta, which is 8 over 17. 8 over 17. Then we have plus 2 cos theta. So 2 cos theta now is 15 over 16 over 17. Sorry, 15 over 17 divided by 38 over. So let me check. Okay, sorry for that. We can continue. So I was saying now you take the answer for numerator becomes negative 7 over 17. Then we divide by 38 over 17. So this one will give us now negative 7 over 17 times now the reciprocal, which is 17 over 38. So this one will go with this one 1 1 1 1. So we shall have our final answer as negative 7 over 38. Negative 7 over 38. Now this one now becomes our final answer for that question without using a calculator. As you can see, that is how we work that one out. So before we move to the next question, that is number 7, I want to recognize the presence of the following who are following and watching. We have Damaris Juma. She's saying hello, following. She's following. Thank you for watching. We have Joseph Laboso. Hello, Emmanuel from Marine Secondary School. Watching. Thank you for watching. And keep watching any other time. We have Liz Nyamai. I'm attentive, Malim. Thank you for being attentive and following. Remember to subscribe to our channel and like, you can also share with your friends. So you can move to this question number 7, a question on linear inequalities. You can see we have the wanted and unwanted region, as you can see. You can see the shaded region, though it's not very clear, but you can see some shaded region. So they're saying determine the inequalities of the given diagram or region bounded by the given set of inequalities given by the following. Now, we have the first one. We have the first one. Uh, the first, the inequality of this, you're going to have. Now, what you are always required to do is look for a point. You look for a point along the given line so that you use it to find an equation. Then you find a point within the required region, so that you replace that point with x and y. For instance, any point uh, in here, any point, you can say this point can be 4, 4, 3. You can take 4, 3, or take any other point, 3. You can take 3, 3. This one, 3, 3. You can take 2, 3. You can take 2, 4. Anyone that you are interested in, as long as it's in the required region, then you can take, and also take 3, 4, that way. So also we have so many points, but take the one that won't disturb you. So that means when you take one of the points, the given points, you're going to have 3x plus 5y to be less than or equal to. Now, less than or equal to comes in when we have a continuous line. When we have a continuous line, that means that your inequality should be either greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. As long as we have this given continuous line, so will be less than or equal to 30. That one will be our first equation. Then second equation, we shall have x plus 9y will be greater than 27. No equal sign y because it has a dotted line. Then the last one, the last equation now will become now 2y minus x now is less than 6. No equal sign because of the dotted lines. Then with the three equations, you can get your 3 marks. The 3 equations, you can get your 3 marks. Then we move to the next question, question number 8. Question number 8. You can see the question. An electric post erected vertically is 20 meters from point K on the ground. And then we have The angle of elevation of the top L of the post from K is 30 degrees. Given that M is the midpoint of the post, determine the angle of elevation of M from K by scale diagram using a scale of 1 to 400. That is 3 marks. Before I tackle that question, I'm seeing Justus Muchoki from St. Paul Giku. Thank you for joining us, Justus. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more useful materials. And thank you so much for joining our class today. You can invite your friends for them to also benefit. So we can now look at this question number 8. Question number 8. This question requires us to find the angle of elevation of M by scale drawing. That means we are going to do some little construction. I'll demonstrate for you and show you how this question is tackled. So, first of all, we have to check on that scale. Check on the scale. And the scale is 1 to 400. That means 1 centimeter represents 400 centimeters. Converting it to meters, we divide by 100. Divide by 100. Sorry. We divide by 100 so that we have 1 centimeter on this paper will represent exactly 4 meters. Whenever we have 1 centimeters, that means it is representing 4 meters. Now, having 20 meters, that means that we're going to have 20 divided by 4. So 20 meters, which is from point K, that means we're going to have 5 centimeters. That is going to represent the 20 meters that we are given. So we have this electric post. I'll draw this one. So we don't know the height. We don't know the height. We don't know the height of the pole. But from the pole to a point from the pole to a point is 5 centimeters. We've seen that we are to a point K is supposed to be 5 centimeters. So you measure 5 centimeters from the bottom of the pole. 5 centimeters will be somewhere there. 5 centimeters. So while here they're saying the angle of elevation is 30. So this is point K, and they're saying the top is L. The top is L. So you measure 30 degrees here at point K, and we shall have something like you measure 30 degrees. So 30 degrees will come up to somewhere there. That will be 30 degrees. So this is 30 degrees. That means the height of the pole is here, which is point L, the height of the pole. Then they're saying, given that M is the midpoint of the post. So in here, between the base and point L, the top of the pole, we have a midpoint, the middle part of the pole. So middle part, you measure the distance from down here, the bottom, to the point L, the top, then divide by 2. So you shall have your midpoint M somewhere there, midpoint M. So that you are supposed to connect from M to the base K, the point K. You connect M to K as that. You connect M to K that way, M to K, so that you measure the new angle of elevation, So when you measure that angle, after constructing something closer to 16.1 degrees, that should be the angle of elevation of M from K. M from K, this place. And we've used the scale of 1. We also move to the next part, question number 9. Question number 9. 9 is the figure, which is a rectangle. And I think it's a rectangle kitchen garden. The length is y meters, as you can see, and width is x minus 1 meters. You are given the perimeter and the area of the garden. Perimeter is 32 and the area is 8. You are asked to find the dimensions of the rectangle. The dimensions of the rectangle. We know that for us to find the area, the perimeter, it is a 2. You simply multiply 2 by adding y plus x minus 1. Perimeter is equal to 2 into length plus width. So we shall have 2 into length is y plus x minus 1. So the perimeter, which is now, we are given perimeter to be 32. So 32 is equal to 2 into that. So we shall have 2y, 32 is equal to 2y plus 2x minus 2. So that we have now, we collect like terms. Collect like 2 will go to the other side, becomes addition. So 34 is equal to 2y plus 2x plus 2x. Now, so the value of y will be equal to 17 minus x. We are making y the subject, so y is equal to 17 minus x. On the other hand, we are given the area to be 48 square meters, and the area is simply taken as length times width. Area is equal to length times width. The length is y, so we take y times the width. The width is x. Y, this is the value of y. We know that y is equal to 17 minus x, so we replace y with that. And the area we are given as 48. So 48 is equal to now 17. The value of y is 17 minus x. X minus 1. So we are going to form a equation whereby x squared minus 65 is equal to, so we use quadratic formula. use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula have the value of x will be equal to 18a, that is a b is 18. So negative minus b, that is minus b, becomes minus plus or minus square root of 18 squared, and then minus 4 times 65. Now divide by 2a. A value of 2a now becomes 2. 2 times 1, that is 2. So that we have our x, we shall now have our x to be equal to 18 plus or minus 8 divided by 2. So x will be equal to 13 or 5. Now, when x is equal to 13 and when x is equal, that is how we get it. Now, and width will be equal to, that is now x, you take x minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, you get 4 meters. 4 meters. So this is how you find the dimensions. You have length to be 12 meters and width to be 4 meters. Width to be 4 meters. Now, when you take, you can confirm your answer. You can confirm your answer such that when you take 12, 2 into 12 plus 4, you're going to get 32. That is now 16 times 2. You're going to get 32. And you can confirm with the area. 12 times 4, you must get 48, which is correct. So that is how you get your 3 marks. 3 marks. Now we move to question number 10. Question number 10. Before that, I can see Kobo Khalil. Kobo Khalil, thank you for joining. Hello, Kobo Khalil, following from Somali Bantu Secondary School. Thank you so much for joining. And remember to subscribe and also share to your friends for this useful content that we keep on uploading to our channel. Thank you so much. Kindly remember to refer a friend to this channel for us to prosper together. So we can move to the next question, question number 10. Question number 10. Uh, 10 now reads, without using mathematical tables or calculators, evaluate. Without using mathematical table or calculator, evaluate. Now you have to evaluate the square cube root of that 293 over 125 times 0.063. Then you divide by the denominator, which is the square root of 1.44 times 0.25. 0.25. Now we convert that mixed fraction to improper fraction. That is the first thing we are supposed to do. So we're going to have the cube of, we convert that one, we shall have 343 over 125. Then we multiply by, we convert this one into a fraction to remove the decimal point, which is now you find the square root of, now we convert that one to fraction, that is 144 over 100 over 100. Then we multiply by 0.25 converts to fraction, that is 25 over 100. That way. Now 343. Now we are still going to find the cube root of. Now 343 is the same as 7 power 3. 7 power 3 divided by 125 is the same as 5 power 3. We are trying to make it of the same power. We're trying to convert it to the same power. Then we multiply by 25. 25 will give us 4 power 3. 4 power 3 over 100. 100. Sorry, 1,000. This was a thousand. Yeah, 64. It's 4 power 3. Then 1,000. 1,000 is 10 power 3. Then we divide by the denominator. Our denominator is 144 over 100. Our denominator we can convert to power 2 so that we have the square root of, now 144 is the same as 12 squared. 12 squared over, now 100 is the same as 10 squared. Then multiply by 25 is the same as 5 squared over 100 is the same as 10 squared. So we can see the cube root of 7 power 3 over 5 power 3 times 4 power 3 over 10 power 3. Then the numerator is square root of 12 squared over 10 squared times 5 squared over 10 squared. Having this cube root sign, that means you find the cube of each. That means the power of each is going to cancel out. The cube root sign is going to cancel with the cube itself. That means each is cubed. That means this is how it's cubed that way. That is what it means. And the cube is going to cancel with the cube root sign. It's going to cancel with the cube root sign. Same to the square. Same to the square. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean. So we have cube root of 7 over 5 times now 4 over 10 cubed. This is what it means, over square root of 12 over 10 times 5 over 10 squared. This is the same thing. So that means this square root side is going to cancel with this square, and then this cube root side is going to cancel with that cube, so that we remain with 7 over 5 times 4 over 10. Then we divide by 12 over 10 times 5 over 10. 5 over 10. Now, we now multiply. So we shall have 28 over 50 times now 100 over 60. 100 over 60. We multiply the numerator times the reciprocal of the denominator. so that we get 28 over 30. When you simplify, we are going to get 14 over 15. And that is how you arrive at your final answer without using either a calculator or a mathematical table. That is how you get your 3 marks. You get your 3 marks for that question. Question number 11. Maria, working as a salesperson, sold out goods whose market price were 340,000 at a 3% discount. Calculate the percentage at which she earned a commission of 16,490. 16,490. So we can now start by looking at the selling price. The selling price. Now the selling price becomes getting a 3% discount. That means the good was sold at 97. That is over 100 of now 340,000. 340,000. That means the selling price was 329,800. Now we have to look for the commission rate. The commission rate. The commission rate. So the commission rate is given by, now you take what he earned as commission, which is 16,490 divided by the selling price, which was 329,800 times 100%. So that is how we find the percentage rate. So that I think this one cancels. Then this into this, when you use your calculator, you're going to find a 5% rate of commission. So the commission was at 5%, as you can see. That's simple. Then you get your 3 marks and move to this next question. Simple and clear. Then you get your 3 marks. And then you solve for the value of k in the logarithmic equation. Solve for the value of k in the logarithmic equation. In the logarithmic equation. Logarithmic equation. Now, we have the given equation, which is log 8k plus 8 minus log 8, that is k minus 3, is equal to 1 over 3. Is equal to 1 over 3. Now we have to now find the value of k, which we don't know. So what we are supposed to look at now, we start by log 8. We have log 8. Now 8k. It is subtraction. We have log 8. So it is subtraction. So that means it's division. We know the rules. We know the rules. That means this is 8k plus 6 divided by k minus 3, which gives us 1 over 3. We know the rules. When you're subtracting, that means it's a division, and log is common now. We factor it out. Now is the same as 1 over 3. So we shall have 8k plus 6 over k minus 3 now is the same as 2. It will be now the same as 2. We've dropped that one, log 8. Now we find the value of k. You can say over 1. Then we cross multiply so that we have 8k plus 6 is equal to now 2k minus 6. 2k minus 6. Now we now collect like terms, 8k and that. So we shall have 8k minus 2k. We have 6k will be equal to, now this one will move to the other side so that it becomes negative. So we shall have -6, -6, so -12. Then divide by 6, and k becomes -2. K becomes negative. So that is how we find a k. That is how we find k. Yeah, we only need to find the value of k, and that is how we find it. And we get our 3 marks. That's simple. Then move to the next question. Before that, I'd like to acknowledge Johnston Buller. It's saying interested in our mathematics move. Thank you. I appreciate for the good work and for watching. Now 13, Kiplimo and Johnny began 8,000 meters together at a starting point. That is a race. Kiplimo took 45 seconds to complete a lap of 400 meters, while Johnny uh, took 60 seconds. Determine the time in minutes that Johnny ran alone to finish the race after Kiplimo had finished. Okay. Before I tackle this question, allow me to recognize the presence of Kelvin Muindi. He's saying hello, Mwalimu. Kelvin, good work. Keep it up. Thank you, Kelvin, for watching and following. We also have Harrison Charlo. He's saying best one, go ahead. Thank you for that. Keep watching for the best mathematics revision materials, and together with physics and chemistry in our channel. Continue following and subscribing to our channel. So let us tackle this question, whereby we have Kiplimo and Johnny, who began a race of 8,000 meters at the starting point. Of course, they started together. Now, this Kiplimo took 45 seconds to complete a lap of 400 meters, while Johnny took 60 seconds. So you can see Kiplimo is somehow faster than Johnny. They're asking you to determine the time in minutes that Johnny ran alone to finish the race after Kiplimo had finished. So this means Kiplimo finished ahead of Johnny. So how many or how long did it take for Johnny to finish after Kiplimo had finished? So we can first of all we look for the number of laps uh, to be covered in 8,000 meters. So number of laps will be equal to, that is 8,000 meters. And then we divide by 400. So that means the number of laps are going to be 20 laps. Then time taken by, we have to look now for the time taken by Kiplimo, to finish the race. Time taken by Kiplimo to finish the race is now we take 20 laps times he was taking 45 seconds. 45 seconds. So that means he was going to run the total number of time. The total number of time is going to be 45. One lap is going to take 45 seconds. One lap times the 20 laps. That means use 900 seconds. To run the laps, the 20 laps. Then we also need to find the time taken by Johnny to finish the race. Now this one will be, he is taking only 60 seconds per lap. Then we multiply by the 20 laps. So that means Johnny is going to take 1,200 seconds to complete the race. 1,200 seconds to complete the race. Now they want the time which Johnny ran alone. So that means it is the extra time that Johnny ran alone after Kiplimo had finished. So what you are supposed to do, Johnny finished using 1,200 second, but Kiplimo finished using 900 seconds. That means Johnny ran 300 seconds alone. So 300 seconds alone. Now we divide it by 60 to convert to minutes. So we shall have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So these are the minutes that Johnny ran alone after Kiplimo had finished the race. Good. So that is how you arrive at your final answer for that question, which is only 4 marks, which is good in section 1. Getting 4 marks in section 1 is a big move, which is going to earn you something good. If you get at least 4 marks in section A, then you can see where you'll be. Now we can move to the 14th question, in here in section 1. Before that, thank you so much, Justus, for joining and watching. Justus is saying, good work, Mwalimu. Justus, thank you. Thanks so much for joining. So we can move to the next question, number 14. Number 14. For those ones watching, you can also give the location where you're watching us from. You can kindly comment where you're watching us from. We shall appreciate. And then we move to the next, that is 14. In the figure below, BC is 24 centimeters, angle APD is equal to angle PCD, which is equal to PBA. All of it is 90 degrees. You can see the diagram. Calculate to 2 decimal places the length AD, given that P is the midpoint of BC. P is the midpoint of BC. Now look at DP. DP. Then we have this 16. P, we are saying that P is the midpoint. That means if this is 24, this is 12, this is 12. We can find DP, right? So DP, and we are given this is 90. We are given that one from the instructions. So DP is the same as using the Pythagoras theorem. You simply take that is the DP is the same as the hypotenuse for that triangle. So we have 16 squared plus 12 squared. So we shall have the square root of that gives us 20 centimeters. So we have 20 centimeters. This one now becomes 20 centimeters. Remember APD is also 90. This is 90. And also PBA. This one is also 90. Then AP. This is a right angle triangle having this triangle ABP is a right angle triangle, and the AP is the hypotenuse of that triangle. So you can find AP. So AP is the square root of now 5 squared plus 12 squared. 5 squared plus 12 squared, that way. So that we find the square root of that becomes 13 centimeters. So we have this as 13 centimeters. That one. I calculate 2 decimal places, the length AD. So this is AD. We have this triangle, which is a right angle triangle. We have 2 sides. Triangle ADP. It is a right angle triangle. And the distance AD is the hypotenuse of the triangle ADP. Therefore, we use the Pythagoras theorem. We still use the Pythagoras theorem. And AD becomes the square root of, we add 13 squared, 20 squared. That is how you arrive at 23.85 centimeters. Remember to put your answer in 2 decimal places. So in 2 decimal places, this is what you get as your answer. It's very simple. Just apply the concept of Pythagoras theorem to find the sizes of different length of that diagram. So that's simple. Then you get your 3 marks. That was 3 free marks for you. Then we move to the second last question in this section. Second last question in this section one. So we have the points a prime, which is negative 2 5, and b prime, which is 4 negative 1, are images of a and b respectively under a translation. Given that the coordinates of a is 0 1, now find the coordinates of b. Now need to find the coordinates of b. Now this one is going to be somehow simple, yeah, because you are given a, that is image, the object a. You are given the image a, so we can use the image and the object to find the translation t. So we can use that, so that using the image of b, we can now find the object of b. That means we are simply finding the coordinates now, what we are asked for. So we quickly move to finding the translation. So translation, let's call it xy, the 2 points, xy. So xy plus, now we have the object of a, which is 0 1. Now gives us, now this is now the image a prime, which is negative 2 5. Now we need to find the values of x. So x 2, that is 0. So x translation t now becomes, we can call it xy. Find the value of xy. So xy, so x now becomes, now x 0 negative 2. So x is negative 2. Then 5 minus, this one goes to that side. 5 minus 1 becomes 4. So y is 4. So translation t becomes x, y. So we have negative 2, 4. So that is the translation. So we can use the same translation to find now the value of the object of b. Now we have the image b and translation. So we are translating using our translation negative 2, 4, and the image and the object. When you are translating the translation, we add plus now the object, which is we don't know, we can call it ab, must give us now the image, which is 4 negative 1. 4 negative 1. So we shall have now negative 2 plus a gives us 4, and that one gives us a as a becomes 6. Then on the lower side, 4 plus b, it gives us negative 1. So our value of b now becomes b 4 there. So we have negative 5. That is negative 4 minus 1. So we have negative 5. So this one now is the object a, object of b, b, the coordinates. Now the coordinates of b will be equal to, now we take 6, then negative 5. You can give it this way, b to be 6 negative 5, the coordinates. So that is how you get your value of your the object of b, using the translation. So we simply use a object of A and image of A to find the translation. Then using the translation and the image of B, you can now find the object B, as we've done in this question. Then we move to that is number 16. Using the mid-ordinate rule, to estimate the area enclosed by the curve y is equal to negative x squared plus 2x plus 8, the y-axis and the x-axis using 4 strips. Now we're going to use 4 strips in this case to estimate. Remember, using the mid-ordinate rule, we are only estimating, not the exact area. So at you can look for they are saying we use four strips. Okay, we shall use the 4 strips. Now, the first thing, you have to look at the x-axis. We start with the x-axis. At x, at x-axis, the equation is negative squared plus 2 should give us 0. So let us look for the value. We can use the quadratic formula faster, so that we shall have then we have plus or minus. We are using the quadratic formula. Then square root of 2 squared plus 4 times what? 4 times 8. Then we divide by all of it, we divide by negative 2. So we shall have our negative 2 now plus or minus 6, which is divided by negative 2. So our values of x will be 2, 1 is 4, or x is going to be negative 2. Now, we know the formula. We're going to use, we now look for the h, the value of h, And how do we find h? H, we are going to take, now using x as 4, the positive one. So 4 plus 2. Now we divide by the number of strips. They are saying 4 strips, so we divide by 4. So we shall have height of 1.5. So it's going to differ by 1.5. So we take x, y. Remember, our x is 4. Our x is 4. So we have to fill the table for us to get the strips. The 4. That is how we get the 4 strips. That way. So we are going to start with we are going to start x. Now when x is negative 1.25. Now what will be the value of y? Now y will be equal to, you take that one, a negative 1.25 squared plus 2 of negative 1.25, then plus 8. You'll get something like a 3.93 0.75. Then uh, then we go to the next one, 0.25. 0.25, replacing in the equation. So the value of y here will be 8.4375. Then you also have next, you remember we are having an interval of that one, 1.5. Then we have 1.7, 1.75. We're simply taking 0.25 plus 1.5 so that we get the next value of x as 1.75. Then we replace it to the equation y is equals to minus x squared plus 2x plus 8 for us to get the value of y. And then we have now, we shall have 8.4375. Then next is 3.25, 3.25, so that we shall have here 3.9375, that way. Now we now look for the area. Remember, it is an estimate, not the exact area. So h, we normally have h into, you take h1 plus this, plus this, plus this, so that we are going to add plus the 4. So we are going to take our h as 1.5 into now 3.9375 plus 8.4375, then plus 8.375, and then we add the final one, 3.9, 3.9375. So we add everything, then we multiply by 1.5. So we're going to add. So when we add and multiply by 1.5, we are going to get the estimate of our area to be 37.125 cubic, sorry, not cubit, square, square units. Now going to be the area of our, the estimate area of our equation or the curve using the mid-ordinate rule as shown. So that one now brings us to the end of that section 1 of this paper. So we shall prepare for the second part, that is section 2. So remember to subscribe so that when we upload, you will be notified and you will benefit from the interesting part of this section 2, whereby you are only supposed to work out your best 5 of the total questions that you get 50 marks. I can see Harrison Charlo saying, I wish my brother could join this. So great. Yeah, we can I think our YouTube is still there. This is just live. It is going to be there. I can still get that. I can get that. And then Aaron Peterson, thank you for joining. He's saying, thanks. That's great, sir. May Lord make way forward. Thank you for that, Aaron. And thanks for joining and watching. Remember, in case of anything, in case of any queries, in case of any materials you need, you can get us through the number. Through the number. Let me write it here: 0757019011. Remember, we also have we always have tuition programs, especially during holidays, for mathematics, chemistry, physics, biology. So you can always get us through this number given, and all shall be well. Thank you for joining, and have a wonderful time.
Eight.